Georgia, Mark Lowry.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ben. I was a hyperactive kid, and I bet there's some in this audience here today, too. I can tell by looking at you. Anybody got a hyperactive kid, or you are one? Anybody here? Over here? I was hyper. But I tell you what, my dad was incredible at getting me to bed. When you're a hyperactive kid, you don't need sleep. And by the way, you be careful how you treat that hyperactive kid that God gave you, because one day he'll decide what nursing home you go to. Keep that in the back of your mind. But my dad was incredible, because, you know, when I wanted to go to sleep, or when it was time to go to sleep, I didn't want to go to sleep, because it was a good 8 hours. I could be partying down and having a great time and tearing up the house. And my dad, though, was incredible at getting me to bed. He'd tell us a bedtime story, and every night my brother and I, my perfect older brother, I had a perfect older brother. Well, I used his halo as a night light. I don't know if you've ever done it. But we'd run to our bed, and we'd pull the sheets up to our eyes, and we'd wait on Daddy. And sure enough, at 9 o'clock, that hairy arm would reach around the doorpost and turn out the light. And Dad would tell us a scary bedtime story. And then he'd tell us a story about Jesus before we fell asleep, and he'd put that on a 4- and 6-year-old level. See, when I was little, I told my brother we had to sleep together, my older brother. I said, we've got to sleep together, because one night somebody might try to kidnap us. Mama heard me tell him that. She said, Mark, don't worry about it. If they kidnapped you, they'd have you back before morning. Don't worry about it. But we'd wait, and Daddy would tell us these incredible stories, and then before we'd fall asleep, he'd tell us a story about Jesus. And when I was 4, though, my mother wanted me to see it. So she took my brother and myself to see a movie entitled The Greatest Story Ever Told, which is a great movie. It's the life story of Jesus. And if you've never seen it, you ought to rent it, because it is incredible. And it's even more incredible when you're 4. Everything's bigger when you're 4. If you don't believe that, go back and look at the house you lived in when you were 4, and you'll see how much it has shrunk. And Mama found 3 seats right beside each other, and she sat between my brother and myself. And I was 4. I pulled my seat down so I could get up high enough to see around the adult watermelon head that was sitting in front of me. And my brother was 6. He could see fine if he sat up straight. And that screen, when you're 4, that screen goes on for days. It filled with the life story of Jesus. It started with his virgin birth. Actually, it started with the credits, but then it went right into his virgin birth. Went into his childhood when he got away from his mother. Remember that? Jesus he was teaching at the temple, and I thought, this is my kind of kid. He has ditched his mom. It's great. He was teaching at the confounding and confusing all the elders. Then it went into his ministry when he turned water into wine. He gave sight to the blind. He gave hearing to the deaf. He gave life to the dead, which is a great... You know, Jesus was the greatest preacher who ever lived. Did you know he never preached a funeral? He raised the dead. When the dead sit up, the funeral's over. We can all go home if we don't drop dead first. But the Lord did all those miracles, and they were wonderful. I enjoyed them as a 4-year-old kid, but you know what my favorite part was? When he loved the children. He let all those little ankle biters crawl up in his lap. And he loved the children. And the people sang, Hosanna. Hosanna, blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord. But about 2 hours into the movie, their songs of Hosanna turned to cries of crucify him. You know the story. Crucify him. Give us Barabbas. And it got louder and louder and louder and louder until I had all I could take. I sat up on the edge of my heels, which were now fast asleep. And as loud as I could scream, I said, no! And my brother leaned over my mother and he said, shut up, Mark, or we'll all go to hell. I thought I was going to put a stop to it. He was scared to death that I might. But you know, there was no 4-year-old boy on that hillside screaming no. His own mother didn't try to stop the crucifixion. What a great testimony to the fact of who Jesus was, because out of everybody there on that hillside, she knew he was virgin born. If anybody knew it, Mary knew it. And she didn't open her mouth, because the baby boy she had delivered that first Christmas was now delivering her. Mary needed a Savior too. We've got a wonderful Savior. He not only loves hyperactive people, he loves normal people. He loves you. Sometimes does it seem too good to be true that God's only Son lived and died just for you? Is it hard to believe that his love's really there when in spite of your sin he continues to care? I don't know.
sinner you are, but I know what a Savior He is. I don't know where your feet have taken you, but Jesus climbed Calvary's hill. I don't know what kind of words you've spoken, but His words were, Father, forgive. I don't know what a sinner you are, but I know what a Savior He is. Sometimes does it seem you've wandered so far, you'll never get back to your place in His heart. Don't you know that He waits for the sound of your prayer? Just whisper His name and you'll find that He's there. I don't know what a sinner you are, but I know what a Savior He is. I don't know where your feet have taken you, but Jesus climbed Calvary's hill. I don't know what kind of words you've spoken, but His words were, Father, forgive. I don't know what a sinner you are, but I know what a Savior He is. What we are is not what matters, it's what He is to us. Who we are is not important, but it's who we choose to trust. I don't know what a sinner you are, but I know what a Savior He is. I don't know where your feet have taken